my Lings apart, but Stalkers in the front, never where you want your Stalkers. They're going to be easy to pick off those troops. And all that's really going to be left afterwards is a few Zealots left on the ground, and they're just basically going to be Mutafood at this point. But check this out, I've got a healthy number of Mutas there, but those cannons, I really cannot afford to just sit there and plug away at the cannons. And he's warping in more Stalkers. What I need to do is pull my Mutas back and regroup. It's just a bad position. If we check out the rally point, I'm still rallying troops over here, but now I'm starting to rally troops. Where's this rally point for my base set? It's set way up here. That's a little bit too far forward. I'm going to set it back here, and I could really use to be sending these troops up here. So he's all like, uh-oh, he might not have been expecting, you know, that push on my part. And what I've been trying to do against Protoss, expanding behind my push, just because I feel that I've got enough minerals, it would be a very good strategy, and realizing that I just got slaughtered there, I'm like, hey, ground armor level 1 would be a good idea as long as that, and flyer level attack with more mutas. So he's actually going to be moving out and trying to put down a nexus, but I'm going to push out right here, and there we go. To counter my mutas, he went Stalker heavy, and I will thank him to the end of the earth with that. You know, those Zealots were easy to clean up. My Lings are like, haha, we love Stalkers. Stalkers are food for zerglings. So there we go, more Stalkers coming in, and I'm actually going to focus down, you know, a lot of the probes and the cannons in the back, and just really cut. If we take a look here, he had a big lead in harvesters. I kind of hit that 34 mark, which is definitely under the saturation that I want to be at, and I stopped producing drones when I got ready to do this attack. So if anyone watching this video has followed my videos, that's a fundamental thing I need to work on getting better at when I'm doing this. And there we see, now this one Phoenix, this guy is good at macroing his Phoenixes. I've got plenty of mutas right there, but now that there's Stalkers in the field, I'm just going to start to take damage with my mutas, and I need to pull back. And I've actually got a few mutas over here attacking his expansion that he really wants to get up and running, because he needs to take the gold if he wants to pull back ahead. We're now even on the harvester count. If we check out the production, I'm producing more drones, and I'm going to send them over here and saturate this. I'm definitely light on my saturation right here, and my saturation here is light as well, which is really not good. This army could be considerably larger in size, and gotta love Zerg cut drones, you know, mass Lings, and he's absolutely right. You know, I'm running a very light drone count, and I didn't even quite realize it when he was playing this, but the way I have played a lot of my games is I will drone to a certain point, get my army, and then attack, and then continue to drone later on. And in that attack, the hope is that I can not only conquer their military, but I can also take out the drones. And just look at this Phoenix just working my mutas right here. There's nothing I can do about it. He's very macro intensive on the mutas. Let's check it out. Both of us running a... Well, I'm running a much higher APM than him. He's running a high one right now because he's doing a lot of macro. And I'm just trying to pull back, maybe get that Phoenix right here into my base, and we can check it out. I'm going to Hive, and I'm preparing for a little bit more of a long haul because I really do not know if I'm going to be able to break him using Mutaling at this point, although he is getting very close to being mined out right here at his main base, and plenty of minerals left over here, but he just does not have the drones to saturate it. So right here, I'm producing, you know, again, I probably stopped producing drones around that 41 mark, when I should probably have about 55 to 60 drones for these two bases. That would be definitely ideal. So definitely understaffed as far as the minerals goes. This is not one of my better games, but it's proving to be enough to supply me with the army that I'm using. Check out the food count, though. We both have low food armies, you know, both of us under 100 as far as that goes. And this is a longer game. I've seen games where at 15 minutes I've been done, you know, near 200 out of 200, just because it's like a mass Ling, mass Muta, or mass Roach build. And he's trying to get his gold expansion up and running over here, and he's just sending out this Phoenix. He's scouting my expansion over here, and he's just going to have a good idea about what's going on. This is the Hero Phoenix that's got 5 kills. Just champion. That's all I have to say. Champion Phoenix. Just keep doing what you're doing. But pretty much stop producing harvesters again. I'm actually kind of disgusted with myself for my light harvester count. I probably could have won this game a lot earlier if I just would have done 1 or 2 more production cycles. But taking a look at this, he is gearing up, you know, right now with a pretty formidable army. There's a lot of Stalkers there, and he's Zealot heavy as well, which does not bode well for my group of Lings. These guys, seeing this come in, the first thing that comes to my mind is I've got enough mutas where I can easily deal with the Stalkers. The problem is these guys are absolutely going to slaughter my Zerglings. You know, I've got +1 armor, which easily negates. the attack that they have, and I have +1 attack for my mutas, which is a great tool to have. But I know that all of these Zerglings are going to get killed, and I need to use my mutas to focus down these Stalkers. I'm going to be in a world of hurt. He could actually do a lot of damage with this attack. So, pushing in right here, he's going to go for my expansion. What I'm trying to do is get my Lings into a position by some of the Stalkers, and make the Zealots work for it a little bit, but I was able to separate them out, and the Stalkers are going to go down without a problem, and that basically means that these Zealots are now going to be Mutalisk food, and he has to try to do as much damage with them as he possibly can. He knows that he cannot run them away. They're committed, and they're just going to take my queen, but there's enough Mutas there where the balance is just eating them apart in that attack. Really did not do as much as it could. He was able to secure a few drone kills, and I actually had to sacrifice a few drones just to drop down some more tech buildings. There goes my Ultra Cavern, and right now at this point, it's really starting to look grim for him. He may have the Harvester count, but he does not have the base to support it. And right here, I've got enough mutas where I feel comfortable rushing in and just attacking these Stalkers head-on, because I do not want him to get a large number of these deployed out in the game. And leaving up right there, he decides to GG at this point, so there's actually going to be another 5 minutes in this game where we stay and we just kind of talk, and we kind of discuss the strategy that we go back and forth on. And I told him GG because I really enjoyed playing this game. It was a fun little kind of back and forth contain on the protoss part, and I was like, for now, GG, you guys can pay attention to the text that's going on, but basically what he says is that he thinks that mutas are kind of a buggy unit, and he says that for the Protoss, and it's the same conversation we're having down here, I'm asking him, he thinks that to counter them, you need to go Stalkers, which Stalkers, one-on-one, do a good job at taking out mutas. They're very effective, especially in terms of gas, because they're half the cost of a muta, and you can just flood the field with them, and Blink just makes them even more effective. But Stalkers are Phoenix, so Stalkers are easily countered by Zerglings or by Ultralisks, which is what I was going for, which is kind of awesome. And the other counter to them is Phoenixes. Now, Phoenixes, when microed properly, you really do not need more than about 4 or 5 Phoenixes, because at that point they start one-shotting mutas. And as you can see, he was dancing around my Mutalisks all day long. I've seen Protoss easily counter this build that I'm doing just with a good balance of Stalker, Sentry, Charge Lot, or just Zealot, and a few Phoenixes in the sky. It really shuts down my air. It forces me to revert back to a ground army that isn't easily canceled with, just basic gateway units, or even worse, if you let them get the Robo Bay out, you're just really screwed at that part. And right here, cut drone equals plus 14 units or 28 Zerglings, and I'm really not quite sure what his math comes from there, but I think I understand what he's saying, where we are able to cut drone production and then just decide, okay, we're going to attack. But I think a lot of people do that. I think all races are capable of doing that. I mean, just taking a look at this right here, this is a bad example of just resource management in a game of StarCraft 2. But anyway, if you guys are still listening on, I've been babbling on for 3 minutes. Hopefully you have enjoyed this game of StarCraft 2, and this is Malikicowtipper signing out. And we'll just go right to the end right here. And I'm just kind of telling them that I think the reason why I was able to take this game is it was just the early hits I was able to get, forcing him to do units, and knowing what tech he was going to do. As tech, the surprise that he was trying to throw at me, I was very well aware. I was well aware of his army composition, and it just allowed me, it's not so much the fact that my army was better than him. I might not even be a better player than him, but it's the sole fact that I had the scouting and I knew what was going on, and my moves were calculated. I knew what I was doing. I think that's the one takeaway from this game, that, my macro, my economy kind of sucked. My unit control was pretty decent, but the fact that I knew what to expect from him and I knew what to build is why I was able to walk away victorious. So again, thank you very much. Malikicowtipper signing out.